The Modern Warfare 2 campaign was great, and quite possibly the best campaign we've seen out of Call of Duty in years. However, it had a lot of plot twists and turns that left us with a lot of unresolved mysteries and unanswered questions. And today I want to cover all of those with you, like what's going on in Las Almas? Who was the villain that was revealed at the end of Modern Warfare 2, and what impact did he have on the Modern Warfare 2 story? And I mean, what happened to General Shepard? He just kind of dipped at the end. So let me just give you a spoiler warning for everything that's about to come, because I'm going to cover a lot of the things that happened in the campaign, and if you haven't played it yet, you're going to get some spoilers. Let's start off by talking about Valeria. She has single-handedly got the entire Call of Duty community acting up.
A diamond ring, I want some bracelets and everything.
But we know she's also El Sin Nombre, in charge of the Las Almas Cartel. And after the campaign is over, the Las Almas Cartel is not really in a bad shape. I mean, they kind of got their ass handed to them by Shadow Company, but relatively speaking, they're in a pretty good condition. They have control over politics and the police force and the military in the Las Almas area. And with Valeria promising she'll be out of custody of the military within 24 hours, it raises some big questions about what's happening after Modern Warfare 2. I think that we're really gonna get resolution for Valeria and the Las Almas Cartel in Warzone 2, because the Warzone 2 map is called Las Almas. It's centered around the entire city. So I think Valeria will be the main villain of Warzone 2, and it's gonna be a big player in what happens next in the Modern Warfare story. But this does bring up another point though. What's happening with Alejandro and the Mexican Special Forces? We take back his base after completely destroying it and leveling everything, and we just kind of tell him, good luck, have fun, we're going to Chicago to deal with some other shit. With Mexican Special Forces as run down and degraded as they were after everything that happened with the Shadow Company and the Cartel and all the different attacks that happened during the Modern Warfare 2 story, will the Special Forces even be able to hold on to Valeria, especially with her promising to get out? You know the Cartel is going to attack whatever Valeria's at and try to get her back, and Mexican Special Forces is going to have to try to defend that. I think Alejandro and Los Vaqueros are very closely tied to what's going to happen in Warzone 2, especially with Valeria and Las Almas Cartel going immediately to war with these people after the campaign is over. Although we still have another unanswered question. Where is the great orchestrator of everything that happened in Modern Warfare 2? Where is General Shepard? The last time that we see General Shepard in Modern Warfare 2 is when he's threatening Task Force 141 and telling them not to attack Shadow Company, because Shadow Company is enacting what he wants. However, General Shepard committed treason. He tried to kill his own men because they wouldn't follow his orders. And we really get no resolution about what happens to General Shepard after the game is over. In the bar scene at the very end of the game, Laswell and Price are basically talking and saying that we don't know where he is, we don't know what he's up to, and that could cause a problem. But his story is not over. I expect to see a lot more of him in Modern Warfare 3, and I don't really expect him to be a part of Warzone 2 that much. However, this brings me to the next unanswered question. What happened to Philip Graves? I mean, at the very end of the campaign, Philip Graves runs out of the compound, we don't see what happens to him, but all of a sudden he comes back in a tank. And he starts talking to Soap over the radio and talking to him about trying to be a soldier and doing what's right and yada yada yada. But we never saw him get in this tank. We never see him in the tank at any time, and we have no confirmation in any way that he was in the tank. We talked to him over a radio the entire time. For all we know, he could have been escaping on a helicopter or leaving, and we brought a tank just because we could. We really have no indication that he died. It's kind of like what happened to Alex at the end of the Modern Warfare 2019 campaign. We just kind of get told that he dies, we don't see his death, and then he comes back 3 seasons later with a prosthetic leg, and that's his only injury from the incident. And I think something similar is going to happen to Philip Graves. Because we didn't see him die, I can almost guarantee you that he's going to probably come back in Warzone 2 or in Modern Warfare 3. Although this does bring up a very big point. He was the leader of Shadow Company. What happens to Shadow Company after the game is over? At the end of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, we really don't get any resolution for what happens to Shadow Company. Shadow Company is kind of just disbanded or in this kind of weird loop system because they're stuck in Mexico. I'm sure that the Shadow Company forces did not get to just leave after the campaign was over. They didn't get just to leave Mexico after everything they've done, because now they're getting hunted by Las Almas Cartel and Mexican Special Forces and Task Force 141. With them being stuck in Las Almas, I'm sure that they're one of the AI groups we're going to fight in Warzone 2. And they're going to be probably the higher tier conflicts that we see. They're going to be very well armed, they're going to be very well armored, and they're going to be pretty difficult to beat. However, opposing Shadow Company, we have Task Force 141. And there's a very big question that needs to be raised about what happens to Task Force 141 at the end of Modern Warfare 2. At the end of Modern Warfare 2, Philip Graves has basically tried to kill parts of Task Force 141, and Shadow Company definitely hates them. On top of that, General Shepard's kind of just told them to F off. I mean, really, is Task Force 141 disbanded, or what's going on? Because the second to last mission of the game, we're fighting as an insurgent force with whatever weapons we had on hand and whatever was stockpiled. I mean, we work with the Marines at the very last mission of the game, but it doesn't really indicate whether Task Force 141 will still exist, or if it's going to transform into something else at the end of the game with Laswell in charge. Regardless, I'm sure everyone wants to know what happens to Task Force 141 at the end of the game. However, one of the characters that we saw a lot in Modern Warfare 2019 really got very little screen time in Modern Warfare 2. In the one mission we see her in Modern Warfare 2, she's working with Nikolai and Task Force 141 to get Kate Laswell back. However, she really doesn't have that much of a presence as she did in Modern Warfare 2019. And it brings up the question is, what's happening in Urzikstan? We can definitely tell from the mission that she's still basically an insurgent force fighting against other forces. We know she's probably still fighting Al-Qatala, but Urzikstan has kind of just been left on its own. We assume that Russian occupation is left, but she's still fighting Al-Qatala, and there's definitely a lack of a government system in Urzikstan at all. What's going on in Urzikstan, and what is Farah up to? I mean, I hope to see more of her in Warzone 2 and get a little more story, but we really don't know what happens to her after the story of Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone. So it really brings up the question of, what is Farah up to, who is she fighting, and why is she doing it still? We do know that there is still Russian forces in Urzikstan, as evidenced by that one mission we get to play as a Shadow Company operator. During this mission, while Shadow Company is transporting 3 long-range missiles across Urzikstan, they get ambushed by a private military company. This basically means that someone in Russia has a very big interest in what's going on in Urzikstan and with Al-Qatala and all these different forces that we fight in Modern Warfare 2. This gets a lot more intriguing when you think back to the very first mission of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, where you play as Ghost calling in a tactical strike on General Gorbrani, an Al-Qatala and Iranian military leader, and he's actually meeting with Russians to try to get more arms for the Iranian army and the Al-Qatala forces in the area. And I mean, we completely obliterated that. We dropped a missile on General Gorbrani and the Russian forces who were doing the arms deal in the desert. And they're both killed. So you can be assured that whoever was in charge of that Russian arms deal is very upset about what happened. And whoever this Russian is that's in charge of the arms deal is probably the one who also set the private military company to go fight Shadow Company and get the missiles. So he has a very big vested interest in whatever is happening right now. And on top of that, we kind of know who it is. This man has taken over the Zakayev oligarchy and all their arms deals that were going on. Imre Zakayev died, and his son Viktor Zakayev died. And that left a huge power vacuum for someone to fill. And in the very last cinematic of the game, we actually get our biggest reveal yet. This is the man who was in charge of the Iranian Al-Qatala cartel deal that was going on with smuggling. The same man who hired a Russian private military group to attack Shadow Company. This man, as revealed in the very last seconds of the Modern Warfare 2 cinematic, is Vladimir Makarov. The very ending scene of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign indicates that Vladimir Makarov is returning. And not only that, the ending credits scene also indicates that he's doing more than we expected. But Vladimir Makarov was the original villain for Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. He kinda had an overarching villainy between all 3 of the original Modern Warfare games, and they're bringing him back. However, this does bring up a lot of questions. Number 1, what does he look like? What does he sound like? We don't know who we're fighting, we just know that there's a man named Makarov who's in charge. There's no real indication of what he looks like as a villain or who he is. The very last scene of Modern Warfare 2 and the ending credits scene definitely reveal that he's going to be the main villain that we're going to fight in Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone 2. We can kind of tell that he's been in the background of what's going on, especially with the first Modern Warfare game. And as we get into the Modern Warfare 3 story, it's definitely going to be revealed that he's been a part of all the Modern Warfare games. But this brings me to the last biggest question about Modern Warfare 2. And I guess it's really a question for Modern Warfare 3, but it is a big question. The very last scene that we get in Modern Warfare 2 after the credits, there are 2 men on a plane building guns out of parts that they stashed in different things that they brought on an airplane with them. And then we see him texting somebody on his phone, someone named M, who's asking if they're ready, to which he responds, ready. And the response is, no Russian. This indicates that we're going to have No Russian 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Remember, No Russian 2, Electric Boogaloo.
No Russian was one of the most controversial missions of any video game throughout history. It was technically banned in a couple countries when it released because it was so violent. And considering that Call of Duty just set up for another No Russian mission, it's going to be something different than what we saw originally, but it's still going to be a very big deal. So I want you to tell me in the comments below what you thought the biggest mystery that we got left with after Modern Warfare 2 was. Do you think it's a mystery of what's going to happen in Los Alamos during Warzone 2? The death of Philip Graves, or supposed death I should say? General Shepard is kind of going off somewhere and we have no idea where? Or the reintroduction of Makarov into the Modern Warfare series? Tell me in the comments below what you think, and until next time, I am Icebergs, your Call of Duty informant. Stay frosty.